Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, Mr. DeRoss,
Yes.
Ms. Valley,
Yes.
and Mr. Hessian is a yes also. I made a mistake when I put the approve of the minutes. We did that at last meeting. So that's set. Robin is going to be a little late. So we'll put administrative update and abatements to the end. Bob, are you ready to go? Would you rather wait for Tony?
Tony just sent me a ping that he said he's was having trouble getting in. If you're ready,
Oh no, we can wait. Give 2 minutes. Let me see what else can I do here.
if I don't want to hold the commission up.
No, don't worry. But we can go into. I'll tell you what. Let me go into the quick project updates.
Okay.
Let me get up to the. I'm gonna share some screen here. Oh, yeah.
Where are you going, Athens?
Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Nope. Run away.
Jerry, I see you.
Did we lose Chuck? We lost Chuck.
That's a short meeting.
No. But he was the host, so. Hang on, let me get a hold of him. Still recording, so that's good.
Yes.
Hmm.
You want me to call him? I lost your voice.
I got him.
You got him?
No, I got hold of him.
Maybe I should have just started. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It's been interesting for me, coming back and, I've worked in a lot of places, but I grew up in Rockland. We moved there a long time ago in 41, and I went to the Jefferson School when it was 4 rooms.
Oh my goodness.
Yep, and then you could only go to the 4th grade, and then you had to go to the Lincoln School for 5th and 6th, and then up to the junior high school and high school. So I graduated from Rockland High School in 1956.
Oh my goodness. Well, I won't tell you where the Jefferson School is now because
It's gone.
it's completely gone.
Yep.
Completely gone. They have a whole school complex. Have you been by there? Have you looked at it?
Yeah, I did go by there, and I can remember when one of the rites of passage, on the way to the Jefferson School when you get a little bit older, the, all of the Union Street and during the war and slightly afterwards, I was in the first grade in 1944. So the shoe factories were all busy and running, and the downtown was sewed, and there was a trunk sewer that came down George Street, and it dumped into a brook, and we used to call it the Sewer Brook, and it ran sort of parallel with Howard. It was all, there weren't houses there were fields,
Yeah.
and then there was a school that ran under Market Street, and then down eventually.
There we go. Finally.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? I'm gonna let Tony and Bob Dailer take over from now until I can figure out what went wrong here.
Okay.
Gentlemen, why don't you go ahead with your presentation?
Sure. And I really, commission members, I really meant to have this be a conversation about, possible ways of working together. And I sent some points about just what we're talking about for the development on the base. And so the wastewater flow for the entire base would be about 1.6 million gallons, a little less. And the amount, and we've for a whole bunch of reasons, we plan to have the Weymouth system go to the Weymouth MWRA. They have already an MWRA sewer community. Abington has a new agreement and has just made a new connection to the Brockton system, and the Brockton wastewater treatment plant has been upgraded. So they have capacity under their existing 1.5 million gallon a day agreement. And Rockland, of course, has all kinds of problems, and Chuck has been very cooperative in sending reports and the I&I reports, and we've met a few times at the plant. And the present developers, New England Development and Brookfield Asset Management, have the wherewithal to pull off this project and make it a long-term investment. And all the stuff that I'm not involved in, I've been a long-term they've been long-term clients of mine, and they asked that I would help at the front end going through the planning and permitting process. So I agreed to do that, and Tony and his engineering group and are doing the nuts and bolts kinds of stuff. So what we're looking at is a build out over 15 or 20 years. This is a multi-billion-dollar investment. And because the work will start in Weymouth, because the existing infrastructure is there, and a lot of just common sense reasons that we would begin the development up against the existing development. So you wouldn't try to go up and just, stand alone on the runway and leave all the old Navy facilities and the foundations in place. So that we'll slowly build out over the old Navy facilities on the Weymouth side. Weymouth has about 750,000 gallons of available capacity in their water system, and we would begin on an interim basis to use that. But the long-term plan for water for the base is to, Weymouth is in the process of joining the MWRA and the MWRA water system. And they have joined with the SRA and applying. They're in the process of applying and doing the MEPA filing for a connection to the MWRA and joining the MWRA. So that's a process that's got the better part of 8 or 10 years before that pipeline is running. So we'll be working on the interim basis with them. And as it is an example of what I think this development team has done, you can look at what's been done with Weymouth. The application that the Weymouth and the SRA are making, the master developer, the SRA, and the town of Weymouth have shared that cost equally. So essentially, the master developer, even though the land hasn't turned over to him, is beginning to advance the planning and permitting of long-term solutions. And we think that Rockland's got, is going to be in this process of doing upgrades and applications and grant applications and all of that kind of work that you've got on your books. And that we need to develop a process of working together, because at the end of the day, we think that if we participated in improvements in the Rockland system, there's mutual benefits. We also looked at trying to benefit Rockland by Chuck. If you look at that, there's a section of Weymouth section of Rockland that could be isolated, sort of the North Union Street down Spruce, in that little section. There's a pumping station there. Could that come onto the base? Could we do a wastewater treatment plant for the Rockland flows, and that sort of way of approaching that? The base has hundreds of borings and geotechnical modeling, and we've gone into the geotech teams that have done all that. And our best estimate is that the most that you could put back into the ground is about 150,000 gallons a day. And, that would have to happen sort of underneath the runway areas. We would all restore those as grasslands, but the disposal fields would all be under that. But even if Rockland's future flow is probably in the 350,000, and we're talking design flows now, the Title V flows are in the 350,000 to 400,000 gallons a day, depending on what the actual development ended up in the Rockland side. So since we can't get it in the ground, even our own flow into the ground, we're then looking to see how can we work together with Rockland. And unlike some of the applicants that you have on the waiting list and everything, we're not looking to jump the line. We're looking to see out of the Weston and Sampson testing and the monitoring that you've got going and the other projects, are there I&I projects fallout that the development team could assist with? Now we've been doing that with the SRA, and we've been doing that with the town of Weymouth. We installed the new sewer connection for the future connection for the base under Route 18. That pipe doesn't serve the base now, won't serve the base until future phases. And it's now the only flow in it is serving all the development that's just out that lower end of Route 18, all of the developments you see, from where 58 comes up and touches 18. That's who's using the new sewer now. So, this development team thinks a little differently about, working with the communities, and has a much longer term view. So this is, I promised my client, this would be a promise to build you a new treatment plant, but we're going to have mitigation measures that we are obligated for. We're going to have I&I removals, even if our flow to Rockland was 350,000 gallons a day. That's almost as much I&I as Weston and Sampson is. Even at 4-1, it's as much I&I as Weston and Sampson has discovered. So we need to sort of work with you as you develop your programs. Are there things that we could participate in that we would get I&I credits for? Even though, for us, we're talking about, at best, even on the Weymouth side, we've still got another couple of years of planning, permitting, design, local permitting, all of that. So, before we start under construction. So for us, the first need of our water is probably late 2026, 2027. That's in Weymouth. And as the development sequence is likely to go, we would build down across the parkway into the Abington system and into the Rockland system, and then out along the parkway to the east in Rockland. So that's sort of the sequence that we see. And we've changed the development pattern of the land so that the zoning that's now in place in the 3 towns, it would allow Abington to meet its obligations under the MBTA housing, because now there's land in Abington that's capable of meeting that density requirement around that T station. And so we're looking at 2031, some time frame like that, where we probably will then, the development will be concentrated in Rockland and finishing Abington and Rockland. And that could change. Someone could come along and really want to build along the parkway in Rockland, and we would have to look at whether or not the SRA could petition Brockton to get out through the Abington system. So we have met with the city of Brockton, and I and a couple of our engineering folks a couple of times now have been through the Aquaria water treatment plant. We've met with Brockton officials, and we know that they have capacity in their wastewater treatment plant. And we've talked to them about, possible relief water for the Abington Rockland Joint Water Board. So, this is really a conversation tonight, from my standpoint, about seriously looking at options. How could the SRA and the master developer work with you? What is the program? Could we do something experimental if in sub-district 6 or 11, where you have the higher inflows and infiltration, could we if those pipes have enough capacity, they're just leaky, or old, could we line them? Could we go in and do something as part of some early actions? So that's what the purpose of the call is. There's really 2 purposes: to tell you what our plan is, what the base redevelopment needs are, when those needs are, and and to look at to tell you the options that we've explored and the work that we've done. And Chuck, we're planning to file the MEPA document in December 15th. So we're about a month away from having that, and I think I can arrange, once we have a document that's all together, sending you down the water and wastewater sections, or I can send you the whole shooting match so that you have a look at it. And this is not one filing and done. We are going to have to wrap up all of it, including the mitigation measures, which will include making findings and commitments in all of 3 towns. And we're looking to wrap that up by the end of next year. So we'll get this in December. They've got a month comment period. It's a big filing. There's probably the comment period might get extended. We'll get a scope for the final document. And so we will be working probably another 6 months starting in February or so to wrap up that final document, submit it late summer, early fall, get the final comment period, and then get all of our Section 61 permits. So those permits will be Fish and Wildlife, there'll be Natural Heritage, there'll be the Water Resources Commission, there'll be DEP, there'll be MassDOT permits. And all of that will be something that should be wrapped up in the end of 24. And then we would have a year of designing the first phases in 25. Construction starts 26, 27, and the first unit's occupancies are, in that 26, 27 period. So that's our best understanding of where we are. And there are all kinds of folks in the development team working on, the financial aspects of this, and financing and budgeting and all those kinds of measures. So for us, this is a time really to develop a working relationship with all the people that we're going to end up be working with over the next 5-10 years. And that probably won't be me. This is, my commitment was to see them through the MEPA, the local zoning and the MEPA process, Chuck, and to work with the communities on getting these commitments in place. And then there are the guys that are going to do the engineering and stuff, and I'm going to get on my boat and go fishing.
Well, I'll cut you bait. No, listen, this is a big project for everyone involved. I mean, the potential is really beneficial to Rockland as well as the other communities. And I mean, there's so much to get into. What I was going to propose to you, gentlemen, was that I had spoken with the people that are involved with our facility and infrastructure, the engineers from Veolia,
Yep.
IPS, and Weston Sampson. And what I'd like to do is get 2 representatives from each of those engineering teams, and maybe you supply 3 engineers and meet as a group. Hopefully, I've received quotes from them, and what do I do with my numbers here? we didn't budget for it. But I'm thinking that maybe to start, we could get 20 hours from each group for engineering support, just to identify the
Yep.
immediate needs. And I was hoping that maybe your group would help us out with the financing of that. I'm looking at $15,000 for 20 hours of work from all three groups to get it off the board. And again, I think that team and the chair, the sewer commissioners could chair those meetings so we could progressively learn along with you. But there's so many issues out there between the administrative order, just how much I can come out, what are the actual needs of the property, that again, it's over my pay grade. So I think that would be the best way to approach it. You mentioned that December 15th, you have to start filing your MIFA paperwork. I could arrange a meeting the week before to kick that off, or you'd rather wait till the first of the year. I'll leave that up to you. But maybe you go back and talk to people, see if they would help support that effort from our part financially.
Look, I will do that tomorrow morning.
Right? When would you? The people I would have they've also worked. They're on the infrastructure now. Like I said, it'd be the engineers that are doing from Weston Sampson who are
Yep.
doing the infrastructure. Veolia is handling the facility upgrade.
Yep.
Wright Pierce has done the CWMP and the facility assessment. So I think those are the best people right there. They've identified our needs and how can we merge them with yours. My biggest fear, and I've got to be blunt with you guys, is that when you gave me the number of 400,000 gallons a day, I'm looking at, you put down 2.1 bedrooms. That's really only 1,700 units of 2.1 bedrooms on the Rockland side, residential. And it doesn't even consider commercial or industrial.
Yeah, in looking at, because we have all the zoning is the same in all three towns, Chuck. What that amounts to is about 1,150 units and about 420,000 square feet of commercial space.
Okay.
So that's what looking at the prorating is, and it's because the zoning is flexible. There could be variations in that, but we will only know that as we start to bring customers in. But we know that the maximum we've set, because we've all set the parameters for the maximum build out by 2040, and we can't exceed any of those. So we know in total, but that's about what that would mean in the Rockland side of things.
But again, and I'd want some help from this. And when I say help, is just technical help. That I would like to see Rockland come out of this with some excess capacity to take care of Rockland proper,
Of course,
future needs. So I'd be looking at least one of the things that the EPA has mandated to us is that two of the things: we demonstrate a continuous history of compliance to the 2.5. And then they want to see a steady reduction in our inflow and flow, which right now is 2.7.
Yep.
So those are the things that, I'd like to see happen. And I think, between Veolia, Wright Pierce, Weston Sampson, and yourself, and I think that's the best way to approach it. Let you guys start hammering out, bouncing out the ideas. What I would like to do is send you a copy of a letter. Two letters. One we forwarded both were forwarded to the EPA. One was we had to select some items for the CWMP we were gonna implement that they wanted, and the other is our 5-year plan for now, and they realize both of them are the 5-year plan is flexible.
Yep.
But I want to get you those letters tonight. I'll send them over to you tonight. I'll send them to both you and Tony. You can.
That'd be great. Thanks, Chuck.
And other than that,
Uh-oh.
Not just me, I guess.
No,
Oh, Chuck's connection looks a little shaky or something.
yeah.
I think he froze.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't know. We might have to
I'm
read.
gonna hammer to the residents right now. We're going to be we're looking at over the course of the next. Sherry, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. The next 7 years,
You froze
going up
up on us.
probably $400 per resident.
Chuck, can you back up a little bit? You froze for a few minutes.
Excuse me.
Your connections froze for a few minutes. Can you just
Okay.
restate that again?
Okay. Well, where did I freeze off?
Pretty much
Yeah.
at the beginning.
You had explained that you sent the letters out and that the EPA is not only looking for you to maintain your regular
Fine.
capacity, but to possibly gain some excess.
Right. They want to see a steady flow reduction.
Right.
That flow reduction could be beneficial to the facility when we start doing our phosphorus upgrades, adding a tertiary system. It'd be that much less flow to manage. But like I said, I am wide open to working with you guys. As you know, it's Rockland has some needs, you have some needs, and how can we come to a happy medium with it? One thing, like just as you do know, and I believe if anyone's out there that doesn't know that, I ran some numbers that we right now with the projects we have approved prior to the moratorium and the 2 on the waiting list. After removing the 113,000 gallons of I&I, we're still 50,000 gallons behind what we need. And we have another 1.1 million that want to log in. So, I mean, we got a lot of work ahead of us.
Yep. Chuck, and Tony, you can chime in, but I think this is the idea of having a working team.
Oh, absolutely.
Under the auspices of the sewer commission, I think is a good thing to do.
No, like I say, we throw it all on the table and sort it out. I mean, it's bigger than all of us right now.
Yep.
And the only thing I'll chime in with is I truly believe that there's a lot of opportunity for finding and eliminating II within the system. So I'm sure we can work something between the group that's put together. I'm sure we can work out some solutions.
One of the toughest one that I've had through this whole endeavor is that the biggest problem I think Rockland has is on the inflow side. Sump pumps. Man, when we get water, and Rick and Meg will vouch for that. When we get rain, those sump pumps are screaming through town.
Yep.
Yeah, that's where it gets funky for the sewer department and sewer commission, because once you get the inflow, you're talking private property, you're talking liability, and that's where it's going to get.
Yeah, getting in and crawling around in people's cellars is tough work.
See, now we just got the perfect job for you when you finally do retire. You can become a scuba diver for the sewer department.
A lot of communities struggle with that, Chuck, and I think if it's all done within reason, for example, you can't disconnect a sump pump from the system and put it on a sidewalk or a driveway or something like that. It has to be done considerably so that, or considerately, so that you're getting rid of it, but you're not creating hazards from where you're putting it.
Right, but again, my biggest thing is, however we do this, I do not want to burden the residents with cost.
Yep.
That is, they're taking a beating in Rockland now, and it's not getting any easier on them. So that I'm very cost conscious on that. But like I said, see if you get an answer on this joint, helping us out with the engineering side of it, and I'm ready to go as whenever you are. I think it's a great opportunity to get all the issues out on the table and meet and bounce them around.
Totally agree. We can talk about it on our side, but I would think if there's a way to convene a first get together before the Christmas holiday, that would be good.
All right, let me well, unfortunately, the money talks. You tell me if you get the funding and I'll get the guys together.
Okay. We'll get back to the team, as Bob said, and have an answer right away.
Okay, and think of any other data or information that you need. I'm going to send you our current waiting list, our backlog. I'm a nut for numbers, so I just think the more I believe in the data. So just see what we have in front of us, so we all know what we're talking about here. I'll definitely want to get you our commitment letters to the EPA, because getting around the moratorium is going to be tough with them.
Yep.
That's going to be very, very tough. And I want to, right now, we've built up a very good rapport and there's a good feeling of trust with us right now. And I don't want to damage that with them right now. They enjoy it. They like working with us, and I'd be honest, I hate saying it, but I like working with the regulators right now.
So let's leave this meeting with our action points. Tomorrow I am going to contact the client. I'll contact both New England Development and the Brookfield project manager, and tell them what we discussed about participating in a plan, that it's our recommendations to do that, and to see if they can find their checkbook.
That'd be great. And like I said, you let me know when you'd like to meet, and I'll do our best to arrange it.
Okay, well, let's see. First things first, let me get to the client. Then if we're still a go, we'll get a date set.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Hey.
Okay, no, before you go, public comment.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I will open up for public comment. Does anybody have something to say?
Yes.
Who may you be?
You guys are putting the cart before the horse. You've got to go through the MEPA filing first, and there will be regulators and state agencies that are going to weigh in on this. They have to come up with alternatives for sewer and wastewater.
But I don't see.
EPA is going to have this say in written comments. So you might want to wait until you find out what the Section 61 findings say, what has to be mitigated first before you start making plans.
Well, I don't think.
And I'm going to tell you right now, the piping is underneath the Delahunt Parkway for water, sewer, and cable and all of that. There is nothing from Spruce Street all the way up.
Okay, but I don't see any harm in getting together as an introductory meeting and throwing the stuff out on the table, what the items we have to discuss. We're not trying to solve anything.
I know, I understand that, but you're also going to have to wait for the MEPA process and go through the MEPA process. Plus, we have an aging sewer treatment plant. It's not just I&I, it's capacity issues.
No, we understand that. I understand that anyway, but I got to have a start point.
Yeah, we do understand that, and Chuck, for us, I think it's important that we run these, because we got a long road to go here, that we run these processes in parallel, that we work on solutions while we're also getting the input from the public comment period and the under MEPA, so that these are all going to be running in parallel.
One thing I want to bring up to the board, we have a November filing due to the EPA. I don't see any reason to incorporate this right now in that filing until we have a game plan.
Yeah, no, I think it's premature, Chuck.
And as far as even mentioning it, Because it's probably gonna, it's probably gonna involve modifying some of our letters and that. The one thing I really will be hesitant to do is modify that moratorium right now. But like I said, there's no harm in identifying the issues.
Yeah, and for us, we don't need to touch the moratorium. Our goal is really out 5 or 6 years.
Jonah, thanks again. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
And
Okay.
Chuck, I'll send you a note tomorrow.
Okay, you got it. Thank you.
Commission members, thank you all.
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, Robin, did you have any abatements?
I do have an abatement.
Okay, go ahead. We'll turn it over to you now.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm a little discombobulated. So this is for 190 Pond Street.
What street? I'm sorry.
Pond Street, 190. The
Oh, Pond, okay.
gentleman's name is Paluzzi. Oh my God, I had a whole write-up from Crystal. Okay, so there was a leak in a meter pit outside that the water department found. It didn't go into the sewer. So Crystal didn't speak for sewer, but she gave him the information to contact us for an abatement. So because the water leaked into the pit, I did the average of his last 3 billing cycles. We charged him almost $2,700, $2,658 we charged him. And I'm looking at an abatement of $1,968.23 to bring him down to his average, which means his bill would be $690.53. But I have the backup from the water department that it never went through the sewer because it never made it to the house.
And what was that, the abatement for again?
The bill was $2658.75 and the abatement would be $1968.23. And then the bill would be $690.53. And honestly, that's $690.53. I couldn't get down to, no matter what I did, I couldn't get down to really his average. So I'm thinking that there's probably still on his next bill, there's probably going to be
It's still
a little extra that we might have to revisit.
all right. I'll make a motion that we abate the party the 1968-23. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, Mr. DeRoss,
Yes.
Ms. Valley,
Yes.
Ms. Hashins, a yes.
Thank you very much.
That is probably going to come back next month.
I think so. And then I have another, but I'm not putting it forward for the abatement yet because she's an elderly woman and her sprinkler system, there's a guy that comes along every year, and Doug Galemi, and he turns on the sprinkler systems. She doesn't pay any attention to it because her husband has passed and he was involved with that. But then she got a huge water bill. The water department came out and they couldn't find anything. They had to contact a plumber. She couldn't afford a plumber, so she called Doug Galemi and he came down and shut the whole thing down. I'm waiting for him to give me some kind of explanation of it where she doesn't have a receipt at all. And I reached out to him privately. He said that he would get back to me and I haven't heard yet. So I don't know if you want to give any thought to that. We would be looking at an abatement of $438. But honestly, I wouldn't want, she doesn't plan on fixing it. And I wouldn't want her to turn it on next year and then be seeking another abatement. So I'm going to need some direction on how to handle that.
All right. Why don't we talk at the next working session on that? I'm going to schedule one for next week anyway.
Okay.
Do you want to do your administrative update or do you want to wait till the working session next Wednesday?
I'll do it at the working session.
Okay.
We're having a working session on Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Done right.
The plant's closing at 12 o'clock.
No, it's not.
Well, that's what Rick Katouche tells me.
I don't have a calendar. I don't know. Well, I'll get schedule one next week after. So.
Yeah, Robin,
Again,
get me
I'm
in
losing
trouble.
it, Robin.
Sorry about that.
Okay. One thing on the new business is the new superintendent, which the reason I had these meetings on Zoom, which I was hoping he could attend, but he's traveling. Again, his start date is the January 28th. And his name is Mike Buckley.
January 28th or January
Oh, January 8th.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey,
Hey.
hey.
Okay, let me see if I can get this share screen thing to work without killing myself here. Share screen.
Still moving.
Okay, see if you want me community Tetra Tech. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go through these real quick because I want to release them in the public record. This is the original memo from the base on their questions regarding Rockland. I think the first, this area here, the questions about capacity was just reaching. There's nothing of any substance there. I think the big kaput is right here at the end. So I'm releasing that for public record. This is what I wanted to get into with the commitment letter on the CWMP. It requires in sections 19 E and F and 26 E and F that we have to keep we continue to enforce that moratorium. They know we're in the intention of amending the 2021, but they're really looking at they're asking questions about the 400,000 gallons removal in the 2021. So I want to make sure that they know we're sticking our guns to that. Let me see what else I had here.
Can I ask a quick question?
Shoot.
When you say release for public record, do you want them posted on the webpage?
No. If they, what I'm saying, this is what I was referring to tonight.
Yeah.
So if they can go
Oh,
in the
okay.
minutes, however you want to do it.
Okay.
Let's see. The other one I mentioned to them was the 5-year record, a 5-year plan to the EPA. That's also public. That's going to go in the minutes if people want a copy of that. EPA update that was part of the submission I'm going to give them is this is what we currently have for a total backlog right there. Let's see if I can get up to the right now. These are the projects that are approved: Beechwood, Dwyer, Concord. I imagine Beechwood is going to come off. We owed 142,780 gallons a day. We took 113.8 out. So currently we have a backlog of 28,917 gallons. That's with the 1101. Now, if we add in the 2 from our waiting list, that we tack on another 21,000, we're going to owe the EPA 50,000 gallons. I'm pretty sure we're going to achieve that with the I&I work this spring. But that's the obstacle that they have to overcome is right there. These projects by date are going to move up on the waiting list as capacity becomes available. And I won't make exceptions to that. I don't see why we have to. They put in their plans. They have filed all the paperwork, and that's what it is. But that's a hefty amount of I&I. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be very blunt. There is no way in God's green earth you're going to remove enough I&I to satisfy this in the base. So they've really got to put their thinking caps on for that one. So with that, I will turn it over to Sherry for a working session update and accounting.
Okay. Working session update. We have couple of our working sessions were used for bid openings for the Spruce Street station and then digester piping. So we are in the process of getting those award letters together. We received the bids. Also, the team was met with the new assistant administrator as well as the town planner, and had a good conversation about upcoming housing projects and the need for Rockland to provide affordable housing. And future sessions, we do need to start talking about our capital planning and our budgets. And then we've been working on the I&I remediation ledger, which is going to document that information that Chuck just provided on what we need to remove and what we have actually removed. For our accounting update, we have discovered there were funds received in 2021 that were not posted accurately. So those funds were rolled into our retained earnings. We'll be able to recover those back into our working budget in May with an article to be voted on. So the funds are there, they're just not immediately available until May. And I'm putting in place some corrective action to catch those kinds of posting errors quicker so that we can take action as needed. I was informed by our Mr. Lapp, the town administrator. He has been speaking with Plymouth County regarding ARPA funding for our projects. And he discovered, and they have confirmed, that those ARPA funds need to be expended by June of 2024. So he's working
in November.
Well, he's working with Plymouth County to get an extension. He thinks December of 2024 is more likely. But the interesting thing is that the federal date all along has been December of 2025. So
Really? So the only thing I'm worried about is the generator.
Exactly. Those were his words as well. So more to follow on that. He is working on that.
Okay.
And then also additional expenses have come along for our bond funding. We have the bond money has been received, but there were expenses involved that were unknown at the time. So we have that, as well as water main issues at the plant. So we're going to have to sit down and look at how we're going to cover these expenses. And that's it.
And one thing I failed to mention is that, and I'm sorry, that I'm trying to get the EPA submittal by Monday, so we could review it and sign and get it down to Chris Kennedy to send in.
Super.
So hopefully I'll have that by then. Let me see if I could show that, go back to that I&I investigation. Where you are. You guys see that?
Yes. You see that.
Pictures of pipes. Yep.
Yeah, that just shows you some infiltration coming in at the pipes, just on Hingham Street. What they pointed out to me, and it's a little unsettling, is that these were a lot worse in June. So they're saying, they told me this afternoon, I didn't want to say this with the base, that pushing 125,000 for recovery is going to be a push. So he was saying it may come to the point that we may not find enough to make it financially worthwhile to go after until we can investigate 2 more areas, which unfortunately we don't have the money to do till next year. So I think we're going to put our thinking caps on. I told him to really crunch the numbers, because we need 125,000 gallons. But anyway, I thought they were pretty cool pictures.
They certainly are informative. You don't realize.
Yeah, you don't think it coming in like that. Look at this one here.
But Hingham Street has a high water table anyways.
Yeah.
Very high.
So, okay, digester piping. That's the other thing I wanted to show so you can see there is a little, not a problem, but confusion, let's say, on my part. Here are the bids that came in on the digester piping. If you could see here, there was the base bid and then two other options we were looking at. I can't think of them right now, but the discrepancy, once I saw that, I stalled for time to go back and look at them. I found one error that I wasn't sure of myself, so we had enough money in the process, in the package, to have Weston Sampson do a bid review. The reason I want to do this, if we were going by price, I anticipate a protest. But so I want to make sure that we got apples for apples, and there's no room for error in this. Frank Occhipinti stated I'll have that answer for that in a recommended bid award letter by Tuesday by email. But I just wanted to show everyone the difference in prices. I don't know if Rick, you and Meg see those, or I'll take that as a yeah.
Yep, I can see him, Chuck.
Yeah, they were pretty much,
Mhm.
Wilkinson was pretty much where he was last time around. Honestly, I was hoping we'd get a couple more bids. The problem with this bid here seems to be centered around something called DCAM. They're not DCAM certified in Mass, whatever that is. So I saw that in a proposal. I wasn't sure of it. I called Frank, and I just thought it would be the best to err on the side of caution and have them review it. So you're on hold for a bit more. Spruce Street the Spruce Street Station upgrade. They're preparing a standard contract. We should have that next week. And after that, Rick, it's up to you to schedule the work. That should be ready to go. I know you're probably in a hurry for that, so.
We're ready.
Okay, October MOR. Hey, you're on.
Okay. So October, we had a total flow of 67 million gallons for the month, which brought our monthly average to 2.1 million gallons per day. We had 3.36 inches of rain for the month. The effluent moving average was 2.351, and the influent moving average was 2.730. I just want to make sure I didn't skip anything. Synagro shut down for 2 weeks, causing us to be behind on pressing, as well as our solids going up. And winter regulations reportings, they started, and a little bit of our change for the collection, our sample collection, changed a little bit, but that was it for our MOR. So
How you doing with the sludge for the with Synagro?
So to interrupt, yeah, so we're back on, they started accepting our sludge late last week, but between myself and the contractor, we had 4 dumpsters sitting either at the wastewater plant or in their driveway. So right now we're just trying to get caught up, or they're trying to get caught up with Synagro, and then we're hopeful it's probably going to be more the following week after Thanksgiving. We're going to start hitting the press hard, but again, what's out of our hands is the downtime that Synagro has. I mean, typically they would give you a 2-week notice when they're going to shut down. And now it's just like you literally get an email saying we're shutting down tomorrow. And, we've brought Mass DEP knows about the problems. I mean, I talked to not only Veolia projects, but, regular municipalities through the town that aren't contractor up, and everybody's really fed up. I mean, everyone's in the same, whether you're a contract operator or you're, private municipal or public, we're all battling the sludge right now. And unfortunately, I don't see any you know, anything in Horizon that's going to help any of the facilities.
it is.
they'll have to come
Until they
along.
wake up at the regulatory agencies, nothing's gonna work out.
No, so this is
You're
kind
gonna
of where we're at.
push the blame down, and then we're just gonna say, okay, what do you suggest?
So,
What
you know,
causes-
you know, you're probably, no matter what they do, Chuck, you're 10 years out. You know what I mean? So we just got to buckle up and, you know, deal with it, unfortunately.
What causes them to shut down?
Old, like the Rockland wastewater plant, it's old, it needs work, you know, and then things just go down. And
Clean out.
Oh, okay.
yep, then they got to get parts. I mean,
They really don't tell us. It
Yeah,
pretty
they
much
don't-
one day they just say
Yep.
they're shut down.
you know, you got to poke around the bushes to find out the real answer. But all right, are you all set, Megan?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, all right. Let me jump into. You had a rough month.
Hey, you think?
Yeah, just a little, Chuck. So I'm going to jump right into R&M. A couple of things that happened. I think last month I talked about we had a water main break, and it was out in the parking lot. That was actually public water. That's our, you know, Rockland water that goes to one of our remote buildings that goes under the ground. We ended up having Dandel Construction come in. We found the pipe. We ended up putting a valve to close the water off to that building. Fortunately, the only reason we use the water there is pretty much hoses, washing down the floors, things like that. So we are able to, you know, kind of leave that line off right now until we decide what we want to do. And I honestly feel we can probably wait till the one of the major grades, phase 1, phase 2, you know, to address that. But then 20 days later, last Friday, another main water break, water everywhere throughout the parking lot. Again, we tried assessing it throughout the facility where it was coming from. We were shutting things down. Did the water slow down? Did it speed up? Ended up having Dandel and Holdy come down. Let's see, that was yesterday. And came down and they started digging, and we found out that it wasn't public water. It's basically it's water skid, so it's processed water. We're fortunate in Rockland, and again, it's a two-way street with the town. We try to keep our water usage down because water is so valuable resource. You know, as Veolia employee, I know, and everyone on this call knows how valuable it is. So a lot of our processed water, into being a lot, is probably about 20,000 gallons a day we use in processed water. And let me just back up. Processed water is all the clean water that we've removed throughout the treatment plant. And then we're able to use it back with underground piping to fill our tanks with chemicals. Some of the water goes to various buildings for washing off the rags. Some of it, a lot of it goes to, when the generator runs, it's for the cooling of the generator. So again, we can consume a lot of water, but we don't. I think roughly, Megan probably vouch for that, we probably do about 500 gallons per day. But, you know, realistically, if we were using 20,000 gallons a day, that'd be over 7 million gallons a year. So we do save a lot. So when this skid, we call it a water skid, it went down, we kind of went into a little bit of a panic mode because, like, how are we going to keep these, you know, pieces of equipment operating? So again, between Dandel, Holdy, the Rockland crew, Veolia, and even another outside plumber, we were able to keep the facility up and running, get our chemicals out. One of my biggest concerns, again, it was probably the generator. I mean, we all know that our current generator is, you know, it's there. Let's just say that. And my concern was what happens in the middle of the day. And we all know on this call, Rockland can lose the power at any particular time. I've seen it happen over all the years I've been here, and you don't need a storm. So I had a lot of concern. We got Holdy down there. We ended up putting a temporary line with water to backfeed it into the generator. Sorry about that. And so that when we ended up doing that, that gave Dandel time to actually excavate the holes and repair the lines. They ended up finding two big cracks in the lines. They were probably about 20-30 feet apart from each other. One was at a 45 and the other one was coming out of another building.
Do you get any pictures?
I do. I don't have them with me, but
Oh, no, I'd like
we're
to.
putting it all together for you, Chuck. So like I said, that was repaired yesterday. The guys from Dandel were at the plant today because a lot of it yesterday they just put the covers on them, and so today they finished up, and hopefully right now, I mean, we didn't see any water, so hopefully that's been corrected. But again, the cost of it, I can't even tell the board how much it is. I mean, Sherry, you were talking about it early. I don't even know. I have no idea because I mean, my guys, and they were here last night. My guys probably put in about 17-hour day. I mean, they didn't wrap up till 11 o'clock last night, and that's with the contractors on site. And then they're all back today, probably another 8-hour shift. So that's kind of where we're at right now with the water break that we had. Let's see what else I want to talk about. So again, some of the main generator. Okay. Yeah. So again, we talked about the main generator, and Chuck talked about this too. It has been ordered. Last month, I did have the annual inspection, and the team that came out of here, FM Generator, kind of like, I believe they blessed it to hopefully that we can last us another year, because they in their report, they said it's not in very good shape. But again, we're going to keep our fingers crossed on that, and hopefully it lasts until the new one comes in. And as of right now, like we were talking earlier about the ARPA funds, I don't foresee that hitting the plant till probably October of 2024. So hopefully that can get extended, those funding to help us with that. Again, general R&M. I spend probably $8,000 to $9,000 a month just in the little things, a little repair, fix this, fix that. And again, kind of backing up into the water line, I asked Dandel, we all looked at it as a team, and it's just old age. The piping is under the ground. I think those pipes were put in the mid 70s. So, I mean, I don't be like, you just don't know. I mean, it's like right now, it's like, can I say we're not gonna have any other issues? We don't know. I mean, it's just an aging infrastructure right now that we've all talked about, over the past years now instead of months. The other thing I want to talk about, and I think, like I said, regular R&M, is Chuck put it on the agenda. Overall equipment status, major future concerns. Well, I have a major one, and it just came out literally yesterday.
That's not why I put that on there.
I know. So we have, and I'm just trying to make the general public understand, we have these primary clarifiers, and they have these scum troughs that the water goes by, and they automatically, all the guys manually remove the scum and grease and stuff like that off the surface of the clarifiers. Well, these things froze up literally, I'm going to have to say 10, 15 years ago. Every year I tried to get them fixed. There was always another catastrophic event at the facility where we just kept putting it away. Like, oh, we'll do it again. We'll do it later. And unfortunately they froze up. They're unoperable right now. So I had a company come in, and they can rebuild them, both clarifiers. And the thing is, stressing, to the board is, unfortunately, I can't wait till 2024. I really can't. So the quote I got was from a company called Prime. I mean, I've got two of them already. Prime Environmental is actually the lowest bid right now. And it came in and I was just shocked, to repair these two clarifiers at $41,760. And I know the board doesn't have that kind of money, but
for both,
I just don't know. I don't know what to, what I mean? It's just
is that for both clarifiers?
Yes, that's for both, Chuck.
Well, you know what? I think $41,000 for the two clarifiers is cheap money.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm very frugal at the facility.
Yeah.
If I can rebuild a pump, I will do that. And we've been doing that we started this fiscal year, when, fresh year, and we've been rebuilding a couple of waste pump. We rebuilt that one. We rebuilt one of our recirc pumps in the digester building. As a group, we spent a lot of money in that digester building, and the engineers gave us an estimate of $75,000 to replace these two recirc pumps. And between myself and the maintenance and Chuck at the maintenance, We actually repaired one completely. I mean, it's like brand new. We did that project for about 14,000. So we're saving money. I'm not spending, like I said, I'm not spending money. So I was thinking, in order to try to recoup some of this, I have another pump that I would like to do, but I strongly believe I can put that one off. I have another waste pump that needs to be rebuilt. And again, that's probably about 12.5. I mean, there's 24,000 right there that I can push off until next fiscal year.
Okay, but
Just to
Rick,
try to get this project done, because like I said, I don't usually come to the board and say, I need this, but I'm in
no,
dire.
but Rick, you know, that's how we get burned. We keep putting stuff off.
I know.
I think what you gotta do is we gotta get in the mindset of no matter, none of us want to spend money. But I think we gotta get in the mindset that we have to just flat out tell it like it is. If it needs to be repaired, we'll repair it. We'll find the money somewhere, somehow. Something we'll have to give, but the place is gonna run.
Right.
That's
And
first and foremost. As much as I'm hell bent on I
know.
getting the I is not gonna do any good if the clarifiers go down.
Right. And so what happens is when this grease gets down back into the process control area where all the bugs are, we have a lot of major issues. It foams up, it creates a mess everywhere down back, and then aesthetically it doesn't look well. But the biggest thing is it also can cause compliance violations. So again, in my professional being at the Rockland facility for 25 plus years, I think this is something that's got to get done.
Do it to it.
Okay.
Sherry, work with them. I don't know if we've got to go out with chapter 30 on that.
Yeah, that's my question.
Right. I know, and I'll be below 50,000. I thought I just had to have 3 written quotes. Is that correct?
Give me a second.
If this is an emergency.
That's true too. That's true too. And like I said, I believe this group can do it. They're on another project right now, but they're going to be coming off of it, I believe, in a week or so. So if they could get to this thing sometime in December, that would behoove everyone on this call.
What's the matter? Chucky run out of Flex Seal?
Yeah, it's running out, Chuck. Calls it up directly. They just come every week and drop it off.
No, that's
between 10 and 50,000, we do need a written scope of work.
Yep.
To get written responses.
Okay, I can do that.
And post the notice on combis.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to go through the sealed bid
Right.
process.
Okay, let me see what I can do on that.
Okay.
So that was my better or bad news as far as the maintenance of the facility. Like I said, I know we talk about it all the
no,
time.
I know, yeah, but Rick, it's to the point. Let's just do it. I mean, it's gonna bite us one way or the other. I'd rather start addressing them.
No, I know.
Well, it's good to talk about them so we know what's coming down the line. And I'm
Yeah.
going to be asking you for
Right.
your opinions on the capital expenses so we can
Right.
start.
And I know we sit down every year and we do discuss it, and usually we plan accordingly and we try to do it like the next fiscal year, but this
isn't going to wait.
This one's not going to make the next
And
fiscal
one
year.
thing to you and Meg,
I get
don't even
that.
hesitate. We know you guys break your butts and we'll
Yeah,
focus
I get
on the
that.
cost, but you know what? That's how we got in this bind, because the place was not addressed when it should have been. So let's just do it.
Yep. And let's see, that's about all I have as far as repair and maintenance. Staffing, currently I'm at 9 employees. Unfortunately, I have one gentleman that's out on short-term disability due to a vehicle accident. And my hope is he will be back towards the end of December.
Hey, okay, jumping back again on the sludge and Synagro,
Yes.
how was the 2 holidays going to hurt you?
Well, they're closed Thursday, so we're going to be pressing. My goal, I was talking to Megan about it the other day. We're going to try to get a load out this Thursday, actually this Tuesday, and then following the holiday, that Monday, we're just going to start hammering it. We have no choice. We're just going to, if it even amounts to, I have to cover, do a Saturday, we got to do what we got to do.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
all I have, Chuck.
One thing I want to mention is that next month we're going to be talking about the drainage matters that came up. You recall the letter from Dave Taylor and then the response to that from Chris Kenny. I'm going to ask the board to really read through those and think that over. I'd like to have a constructive meeting on that, but I have some concerns on budgets with that. With that subject, so think that over. With that, I'll open up for any comments from the public. And Mary, you're the only one there. Anything you'd like to add or say, or?
Oh, yes, on the MIPA process, what I forgot to.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me get my
say
notes.
is-
I want to take notes on that. Go ahead.
Okay, on the MIPA process, we need the sewer commission to write written comments. You need to document everything that the sewer department needs. Document the fact that it's an old treatment facility, and at some point you may not be able to replace equipment that run the treatment plant. You need to document that for MIPA, and you're going to be on a time frame for commenting. It's between 20 days and 30 days.
Okay, when do we see these notices to say, okay, we need your comments on this?
It's the MIPA filing, like he said, they're filing on December 15th, and it will be noticed in the environmental monitor. I already was looking at the monitor today, because they have to respond to comments that I made years ago. So I have to go over my comments. I will be commenting on this too.
All right, but that's not a formal form. Or an
Yes, it is. No,
application that
it's you
No,
have
wait,
to
let
write
me-
comments on the
let me-
sewer department letterhead.
Let me finish. That is not a formal request that they will send us. It's up to us to respond.
Yes, it's not a request for you, you're gonna get. It's up to you to note what's noticed in the environmental monitor, and it's up to you to put in written comments of what your facility may need, because what they didn't tell you, these guys are looking to get out of this cheaply. They're not gonna spend money to do this. That's why they're arranging it so Abington has Rockland Sewer, Weymouth's going to use MWRA, and they're coming to you. But they're trying to get out of it as cheaply as possible. That there's nothing wrong with that. What you need to do is put in writing, in comments, because DEP, EPA, all kinds of agencies, state and federal agencies, are going to be looking at your comments and what your needs are, and they are going to tell the developer what he has to do.
Mary, I don't think you have anything
gonna
to
be
worry about me pulling punches.
What?
I don't think you have anything to worry about me not pulling punches.
No, I
So
need you
think
to.
that I will document.
I need Rick. You need Rick Cartouche to state what he needs, what his issues are. Same with Megan Lynch. Everybody needs to state what the issues with the sewer treatment plant are, because you don't want to be in a position where the Rockland taxpayer picks up the tab.
No,
Granted,
they're
there's
not.
stuff that we have to pay for.
I don't want them picking up the tab. I would not. No. I try to make that very clear to him. That's
And
why
I
the
want
big
copies
thing
of
for the
everything we
board-
discussed.
One thing with the board, like I brought up, is that I was worried they were going to focus in on the 1.89 million gallons a day on inflow. Inflow is a tough nut. Inflow is private property.
Right.
Inflow is going to be on the residents, which we cannot do. So,
Oh, it's also going to be on the added inflow that would be coming from the base.
I know.
That would be on the developer.
Yep.
So that needs to be mentioned. Everything needs to be stated in writing. And you need to meet the comment deadline. If you
All right,
don't
as
meet
soon
the
as I,
deadline, it
so
doesn't
I'll
get
stop
looked
paying
at.
attention. I'll start looking for it, and once I get it, I'll write it up.
Okay. Well, no, you won't get anything. You have to.
I
sit
know,
down
I
and
know,
write
but
the
once I see it, I'll write it up. What do you think, guys? You want to meet before Thanksgiving, or want to wait till after for a working session?
We could meet before, but can we do Tuesday?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's Tuesday, I got to put it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Want to do Tuesday morning at 11 real early and get out?
11's tough for me. I don't get back here till about 11:30.
How about 12 o'clock, 12:30?
Yeah.
Reason being, I gotta get up my tree.
Wait a second, you're gonna get us turkey sandwiches for lunch?
Yeah. You
Yeah.
bring the cranberry sauce. Okay, with that, I'll take a motion in the meeting.
I make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss,
Yes,
Ms. Valley,
yes.
and Mr. Hessian's a yes. Robin, I'll be down there early tomorrow morning to take care of that paperwork for you. Somebody got to wake Robin up.
Thank you. I was muted. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Good night.